Welcome to Sports Memo's MLB Full Count Show. I am your host for today, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper on SportsMemo.com. We have a couple game threes today to talk about. NLCS game tonight between the Padres and Phillies, ALCS game between the Astros and Yankees. Let's bring in our guest panelists slash professional handicappers who will be breaking down these games today. Slime action, Eric Pauly in the building, and Kevin Thomas. What is up, guys? It's been a minute since I've been on the Full Count Show. How have the playoffs been treating you, Eric? Let's start with you.
Yeah, it's nice to be back with you, Ron. It's been a little bit of time, but playoffs have been treating me well. 3-2 overall, so can definitely do a little bit better there. But looking to find everybody some winners heading into this weekend. Build some bankroll for football on Sunday.
Let's go. Yeah, I know you touch on all the sports there. Kevin, how about you? How's the playoffs been treating you?
As a fan, it's a little nerve-wracking, but in the pocket, it's been doing very good for me. That's the first thing, as long as I'm winning. But being a fan, it's been a while. It's been since 2008, so I was a little excited for that win. Being up 4-0 is kind of heartbreaking to lose that game. It's a big loss.
Yeah, I feel your pain. The Mariners. It's been a long time for the Mariners too. So just for them to get into the playoffs was fun to watch. Definitely sad that they lost, but next year is a new year, and they look young and ready to roll for the next few seasons. So we'll see how that goes.
Young,
yeah,
that's the big part. The
that's
Phillies aren't
part.
young.
We just got to make sure Mariners
they have
actually
no one coming up.
Exactly, and we needed the Mariners to actually spend money. That's the thing. Seattle needs to spend money. Make sure they keep these guys, make the right decisions, and we'll be good to go for the next few years. But our first game here is Padres and your Phillies here. Padres visiting are facing Phillies here. Musgrove on the mound for Padres. Suarez on the mound for the Phillies. Series tied 1-1. Phillies took game one in a low scoring affair. Then Padres took game two in a high scoring affair. This matchup, between these two teams, it just seems like it can go either way. And the line is telling us that it looks like a game opened up at -110 either way. And we're seeing the Padres at -115 in some books. Totals consistent throughout most of the books at 7.5. Kevin, let's go with you first. How are you looking at this game here?
Yeah, I've watched Musgrove pitch a lot. Pretty sure with the Pirates back in the day, and I always felt bad for the guy when you're on a team and you're not getting run support because you'd probably be a Cy Young candidate. The guy stepped up big. I mean, what he did to the Dodgers and the Mets, he's stepped up, and he's saying that this isn't going to be too big for him. Well, this is going to be the biggest atmosphere he's played in for a long time for sure, because Philly gets rowdy and they're going to be yelling. They're going to be on top of their seats. But on the other side of that ball, it's Ranger Suarez, and he's been inconsistent. I think they made it almost 4 innings last game, so I'm a little worried about that. It's not too bad. The weather is actually nice. Sometimes out there they were getting some dry air, and some of those balls were leaving the field out there in San Diego. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm a little worried about the bullpens. They're ranked 12th and 11th to start the playoffs. Before the wild card, they were ranked 12th and 11th. And when I looked at the Padres, I wasn't too worried. Josh Hader wasn't himself for when he got the trade from the Brewers. He wasn't the shutdown guy, but man, he's turned it up. He's like 8-0, I think, and he's won his last 4. He's got 4 saves, 10 strikeouts in his last 4, and that's only doing like 4.5 innings. So he's back. And the surprise to me is Nick Martinez. I mean, I would have never said the guy was the guy's been lights out. I mean, he made the Phillies look bad in that game. So if it comes down to the bullpens, I like us with the little bit of rest we had, because we got Alvarado and Sir Anthony. Those guys hitting triple digits. That's tough for any batter, especially in that atmosphere with those fans going to be screaming and cheering. It's going to be hard to pick up a 100-mile dot coming at you. So if Ranger Suarez can stay 4 or 5, if he can get 5 solid innings, maybe give up 1, I like the Phillies here. It's a must-win, but where is their heads? I mean, you're up 4-0. Aaron Nola on the mound. You want him and Wheeler. They're your 1 and 2. And then for his command to be off, and then 2 back-to-back home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got to pitch to his brother. If I'm over there, I'm like, don't let him pitch to his brother Austin. Don't let him. And I'm saying that in the car. I'm yelling at the radio. Don't let him pitch to him. His brother hits him pretty good. They're back and forth. He's like 50% against him. So that hit the right field. That was the nail in the coffin for me. And then you go to Hand. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Phillies have two legit bullpen guys. I know Eflin's going to be thrown in there a little bit, but for this game, I'm just going to take the Phillies, not because there is no momentum. But I'm going to take because they're at home, and until someone can show up there and beat them down, I'm going to take them here at home against the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Just coming back from a loss like that, having to deal with how they lost. It's not just the loss itself, right? It's about how they lost. Mentally, does that affect them going into this next game? And what other ways are you looking at betting this possible in this game?
Yeah, so I agree with a lot of the points that Kevin made. And to answer your question, Ronald, so thinking about, not only just that they lost, but how they lost. But this Phillies team, outside of Nola and Wheeler, all season long, they won games due to the strength of their offense, not to the strength of besides those two starting pitchers. Of course, Suarez came on toward the end of the season. Syndergaard's done some decent outings, had also some horrible outings since that acquisition. But I don't think that that's going to weigh too heavily on the minds of the Phillies. Of course, the 4-0 lead, they wanted to come back and have completely stolen home field advantage before, this game 3 in Philly. But I don't think that that's really going to affect them too much, solely because it's not like that's the brand of baseball. That was the type of games the Phillies were in all season long. So I think that, they're made their bones, made the playoffs based on their offense. So they have to rely on that offense. But it's going to be tough, of course, today going against Musgrove because what he's done in the playoffs so far has just been astounding. The Padres are 2-0 in those two games, one against the Mets, one against the Dodgers. And in those two outings, he allowed just 2 runs on 7 hits in 13 innings with 13 Ks. So he's just absolutely dominating the hitters this postseason, on top of having a fantastic regular season this year. Then on the other end, Suarez, I mean, again, he's picked it up a big time toward the end of the season, but he's actually a lot worse when pitching at home compared to on the road. His ERA is a 4.27, 2.72 batting average against, 4.10 slugging percentage against, 4.0 FIP, and a 1.52 whip. But even despite the fact that he hasn't really pitched that well on the road, it hasn't.
You're always asking, where next?
Sorry about that. It hasn't hindered. That's ESPN just giving me an advertisement. I was going to talk to Suarez in his last start. I was trying to pull the exact stats from ESPN there, but they wanted to play a video there. But he had 5 walks in that last outing. So he's letting runners get on base. He was lucky to get out of that. So in the X's and O's, I kind of definitely lean toward the Padres solely, again, because of that better pitcher on the mound today. This team is also better on the road all season long, average more runs on the road, won just one more game on the road than they did even at home this season. But I'm definitely leaning toward Philadelphia because that crowd in San Diego does not even compare to the kind of backing that the Phillies are going to get at home tonight. And this is kind of a game where, yeah, the Phillies have a disadvantage in terms of starting pitching, but if they can get some good innings from Suarez, their bullpen with that day off yesterday is definitely going to be rested and looking like they could just rely on maybe 2 or 3 guys out of that pen. And this is a must-win game. I'm going to back the home dog today in this matchup, but it really is from an X's and O and from just a betting market perspective, really, really a tough call and a close game. And I hope we're in for a treat today.
Sounds like you guys are both on the Phillies here. That's a great breakdown by the both of you guys, bringing up, just the fact that they're so equal. So you want to make sure you take advantage of or whatever piece that can get, right? So the bullpen, I feel like, Phillies and Kevin mentioned, Eflin is a good person off of the bullpen that they could trust. I'll talk about it during my breakdown later on my best bet, but it's really hard to pick a side for me, really focusing in on more of a team total aspect, but I'll talk about that later. The next game here, Eric, we'll talk to you later about what you're next for. Like the ESPN commercial said. We'll see how that goes. But the Astros and Yankees are up next here for us to talk about. Astros took care of home field and are up 2-0 against the Yankees here. Yankees are minus 145 favorites now. Cole on the mound. I believe Christian Javier is on the mound for the Astros. We were trying to figure that out earlier before the game. I believe he is going to be the starter for the Astros. Total is currently 7, kind of juiced towards the under here. Yankees, can they get the win at home, a much needed win at home here? Eric, start with you. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I'm also seeing Javier slated to pitch. This was undecided for a while, but I think about an hour before the show, that looks more or less confirmed. So we'll be seeing Javier. He hasn't made a start yet this postseason. Made a relief appearance against the Mariners, 1.1 innings, and looked all right. Definitely could have did a little bit better in that game. Won that 8-7 slugfest that Yordan Alvarez took the Astros over the top. But looking at Javier's regular season on the bump as a starter, he's been really electric. Home and away splits, both fantastic. Of course, they'll be on the road in Yankee Stadium. 2.84 ERA, 1.86 batting average against, 3.07 slugging percentage against. Looking at that FIP drops all the way down to a 2.78 when he's on the road this season. So Javier is definitely going to present a little bit of a problem for the Yankees offense. But just looking at this series, and I know I was wrong. I owe Joe D'Amico a steak dinner or something because in that game 5, I was on the Guardians. He was on the Yankees. Of course, the Yankees took that W. And I made some claims that I think the Yankees are overrated, that they're not going to really be – obviously, they're in this tournament to win the World Series, but are they actually, a contender? I made the claim that they're the worst team that's left, and I'm sticking by it regardless of what's going on here. New York Yankees, you see them blaming the media. Blaming the conditions last night. Oh, the roof was open, the exit velocity. This team's looking for any excuse as to why they lose, except for looking at their lineup that Cashman has built and said, wait a second, we don't have guys that get on base. We don't have guys that hit for contact, that hit to the gaps and move runners over and, play that fundamental baseball. And I think that's really what hurts them. You look at all the stats everywhere. The Yankees, when they don't out home run the team that they're playing, they lose. Out homering teams is not a recipe to win a 7-game series, let alone multiple 7-game series on the way to a World Series title. Yankees pitching has kept them in games, but their fielding has been lackluster. Their offense cannot hit unless it's going out of the ballpark, which is a problem. And the Houston Astros, even with Javier not having a start yet and being a younger guy in their pen, in their rotation, he's done some great things. Of course, Cole's going for the Yankees, but the excuses the Yankees make have really just kind of lead me to believe that this team themselves don't even really believe in themselves. They're making excuses. They're pointing fingers. They're blaming things that they cannot control, which is not the sign of a good ball club. With that being said, it just takes one game for them to get back in this series. And if they do steal a win tomorrow, 2-1 series, again, in the Bronx, so anything is possible there. But this series looks like a mismatch. The Astros look like the much better team in all facets of the game. I'm just going to go with the Houston Astros to not only win this game, but I don't even think it comes to a gentleman's sweep. I think they actually even 4-0 them with these 2 games coming up in the Bronx.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that you mentioned Javier coming out of the bullpen against the Mariners, right? It almost seems like they're in a position to say, all right, let's see if he can get the job done and kind of save the arm, our best pitchers here for when it's more important games.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are your thoughts?
When you're up 2-0, you have that luxury.
Yeah, exactly.
You should definitely not play with your food by any means, but Javier can't make it and the Yankees come out to a big lead. You throw that game, unfortunately, it's not the end of the world. So I think that's a great point, Ronald.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Kevin?
I think they probably have the freshest bullpen left. And it doesn't matter if Javier only goes 4 innings.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Hunter Brown since the Mariners series, and the kid's nasty and a stud. Presley, you can throw him out anytime. The Yankees are overmatched bullpen and pitching here. I know Garrett Cole, he's a stud at home, but I don't know. This Astros team can hit. I know the Yankees unfortunately had errors or injuries down the line here. LeMay is out. Matt Carpenter has been god-awful horrible for the Yankees. I don't even think he has a hit yet, and he's batting probably after Torres, and then you got him, and then 2 rookies right after him, Oswalt.
Mm-hmm.
And so your left field, your shortstop are rookies right now. That hurts. You can get around 5 guys. Hell, you can walk 2 of them, strike 1 out, but you can pitch to those 4 guys down there. That's no match. The Astros, I was looking at rankings for bullpen. Even though they ranked behind the Dodgers, they were number 1 in ERA. They were number 1 on leaving men on base and Ks, strikeouts. This team's no joke. There's a reason they're number 1 in the AL, but Yeah, I kind of agree with Eric. They could 4-0 sweep them right here if they want to. Hell, they could play around and just, stretch all their pitchers out and get ready for the World Series. I do not see the Yankees winning at all. They might take one here, but that's just on good faith. Other than that, this Astros team's too stacked. I don't see anyone really beating them. That pitching is unbelievable. But other than that, I mean, look at the senior veterans on the team. I mean, they're not big home run hitters. They put the ball in place, and then look at their rookie, that Tucker kid, second year. He steps in, big role there, and man, he's just hitting the ball everywhere. So, the Yankees. I'm not a fan of Yankees because I hate big spending, especially when even though the Phillies have started doing it. So, you kind of appreciate it, but you're always a little jealous because the Yankees over all those years spending the money. So you always root against them. They're like Darth Vader to me. And they beat my Phillies in the World Series. So I never root for them. But the injuries, I like to see a good match, and I'm not seeing it here. Aaron Judge, Stat, and those guys cannot do it alone. They still Hader's been good leading off. I like that move that they moved Judge down to protect him, but still, you need some pop at the bottom of the lineup, and they're just not getting it.
Yeah, shout out to Joe D in the chat here with Astros. With Eric and Kevin looking at the Astros, he's probably punching air right now, talking to you. But it's one thing about the youth that you mentioned, Kevin, is the timeliness and timeliness of the hitting, especially in that Mariners series. Watching them so closely with Tucker and Pena, boy, they got a good future there too. I mean, it's not only going to be this year; it's going to continue further. And that pitching staff is great, like you guys mentioned. So, it's going to be a tough hill to climb here for the Yankees to come back down 2-0 against the Astros. Well, I think that's the two games that we're going to be talking about. Now it's time for the best bets. Eric, let's start with you here. What's your best bet for today's show, and what do you have going on over at sportsmemo.com?
Yeah, so it's SportsMemo coming off another winning NFL weekend. We're up plus over 12 units so far this season. So obviously, love to go higher than that, of course. 6 weeks into it, definitely happy about being in the green. Have my Sunday All Access up ready, one play loaded, multiple plays on the way. Ronald and I will be on the football forecast show that happens at 4 EST. So coming up shortly, that's going to be a good time. We'll talk some best bets there. But my best bet in the MLB today, I'm riding with the Philadelphia Phillies. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, on an X's and O's statistical stat matchup, this is really a toss-up game. And the fact that, looking at the market right now, that they're pricing it that way, it makes a ton of sense. Despite how good Musgrove has been and how, Suarez has been worse on the road at home this season, the Phillies have found ways to win in his starts when he pitches at home because, like Ronald mentioned earlier, maybe their psyche's a little off because they had a 4-0 lead and blew it. But I don't think that's the case with this Phillies team because that's the kind of brand of baseball they played all year. They won on the back of their offense, despite even having some aces. But really what kept them in this season is their offense. So Musgrove, even if he goes 7 innings, I could see Suarez doing a good job. I think we know for a fact that crowd in Philadelphia is going to be ridiculously rowdy. And I just think that this team has, even though they don't have the momentum because they come off the loss, just being in the position they're in is enough to give them momentum, their crowd hope. I think they're going to feed off that. I'm taking the Phillies as the home dog to win Game 3 tonight.
Nice. Eric Pauly with the Phillies here, plus 100, the home dogs in Game 3. Before we get to Kevin, just want to make sure you guys remind you guys to hit the like and subscribe button here. You just support us on Sports Memo TV here on YouTube. It would help us tremendously. And also after the show, head over to sportsmemo.com. Always a bunch of promos on Cappers pages, weekly and daily promos as well. So make sure you head over to the website, sportsmemo.com. Kevin, Eric came out with the Phillies here. That's your team, so you can't use them. What do you got going on for your best bet, and what do you have going on the website as well?
Well, we got all sports in play, so I have a pick in every sport. Yesterday, I actually took a pass on the baseball field. I just didn't like it. I didn't like NOLA, so I wasn't going to bet against the Phillies. I just didn't like it enough. With basketball out there, I actually went with my 76ers Bucks. The Bucks were heavy favorites, and I'm a sharp capper, and I took it in the butt. 76ers did not show up. They actually went to they went to the the Houston Rockets defense, and I don't know what's going on there, but I'm scratching my head still. But big win in college football, another big college win in football. NFL, I dropped the ball there. I was with the Saints there, and the Cardinals. Second half team. I should have known when they tied at halftime I was going to lose, but I stayed up and watched that whole game anyway. So tonight you can get a pick in every sport that's going on. You got college football, baseball, hockey, and I got 2 in basketball. One that is my 10 percenter. I love it. It's the Trailblazers hosting the Suns. I love that matchup. So you can go ahead and jump on that. And my free investment today is a prop bet, and it's back to those New York Yankees. Like I said, those top 5 guys, you can walk to them and pitch around them, but you got to pitch to one of them. And Gio Stanton, guys hit 3 home runs against the Guardians, or he hit 2 home runs in 3 games against the Guardians, and he's got 5 home runs in 10 games in October. So he's the guy that for plus 320, lay a little bit on that, and I think he's going to pop one out. These guys got to be aggressive. They might take a page out of the Phillies. The Phillies, I think, like 70% first pitch swinging. These pitchers want to get ahead, and that's usually the best pitch. I mean, I preach that to the girls. Look at that first pitch. It's probably going to be the best one you see. Pitchers always want to be ahead of the count. And I think Stanton, he takes one out. And for that kind of value, I'm going to lock it in myself. So Stanton for a home run tomorrow night against those Astros.
All right, Kevin, with the home run prop there with Stanton at plus 320. I love those odds. I like those plus money odds just because even if you lose one, if you continue doing it and you hit at even a 40 to 30% rate, not even 50%, you could still be winning over time. For me, my best bet today is actually on the Padres team total over here. I just want to make it simple, right? Like I lean towards the Padres, but I'm not too sure. I definitely don't want to go against you guys with the Phillies, and I also lean towards the over, but I'm not sure, are the Phillies going to be able to get to Musgrove? I'm not sure. So one thing that I do want to take advantage of is the team total over 3.5 at minus 120. I think either way, if they lose or win, doesn't matter. We just focus in on what they can do, and I think they should be able to get this done here. Padres have been great on the road this season against starting left-handed pitchers, 18-10-2 to the full game over while averaging 5.3 runs per game in those 30 games. Their team total gone over 3.5 in 8 of the last 10 instances on the road against starting left-handed pitchers as well. So it's something that's not new to them. Ranger Suarez has kind of been of a mixed bag at home this season. Opposing teams have gone over 3.5 runs in 10 of his 13 starts at home. Opposing teams are averaging 4.9 runs per game in those 13 games. I know his last game at home was a good one, 1-0 win against the Braves, but it almost looks like an outlier. All the other games were 4 or 5, even more runs than that. His last couple of games on the road have not looked great at all, so his current form seems like it's off a little bit. So with this look here, I don't have to worry about the Padres winning. I don't need to worry about Phillies managing runs. I just got to worry about Padres getting 4 or more, and I think they'll be able to get that done. On the premium side, a lot of the NBA is my thing here with SportsMemo.com, number 1 all-time profit leader in the NBA at SportsMemo after just 2 years with them. Starting off the season really good. Yesterday, a 3-0 sweep, and today a big slate. But I'm focusing in on quality, not quantity. So I have 2 games on the board right now. I'm continuing to look at more, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, you guys ride with me in the NBA and all the other sports that I got going on, college football, NFL, and some baseball here. More baseball was during the regular season. Playoffs, I kind of take it easy a little bit, but definitely a multi-sport capper here, and taking advantage of the season-long packages and some of the multi-sport packages would be a good way to go with not just myself but also Kevin and Eric here. With that said, 2 games down. Best bets off to you guys as well. Eric, Pauly, Kevin, Thomas, and myself. Good luck to everybody today, during the weekend, and the rest of the MLB playoffs. So next time, take care.